Hi. What we were going to talk about today is the current situation in Australia. It's the beginning of September 2010, and we have the situation of the so-called hung parliament, and two leaders from the two main parties, that is the Liberal Party and the Labour Party, locked in negotiations with the independents who hold the balance of power in order to try and form a government. And it is a very interesting and absolutely fascinating to watch what's going on. Now, Douglas here has got some wonderful thinking about that, and perhaps it is something that if the leaders could hear and maybe if they could think about, they'd see some real sense in the directions that they're trying to head into. So Douglas, give us your spin on this.
Well, spin's a word, I guess, that I don't like too much, because I think we get spin all the time from our politicians. Yes. But the basis of our current political system, whether it's the Liberal coalition, Liberal National coalition, or whether it's on the Labor side, the basis on both sides is that if the party decides it wants to do something, then you have no discretion as a politician as to how you vote. In fact, right, we have the whips on both sides, who traditionally are the people for maintaining discipline. I always think that's an interesting term to use for them, and a very, very descriptive one. But our political system is based on a situation that there will be a person or a small group of people, the elite, who will be in charge, and they will know what is best for everyone. Yes. And that's the way in which we've operated. And I've been in Australia since 1976. I have watched this with no matter which political party is in power. It is still this whole idea of we know what is best for you, and if we decide, for whatever reason it is, usually political, sometimes for the good of the nation, but more often in terms of making sure that we're re-elected or that we minimise our time in opposition, if we decide that this is what we're going to do, then we will insist that everyone goes along that path. And if we look at the last election campaign in Australia, I think the thing that came through to me is that neither party deserved to be elected. Neither party gave us any reason whatsoever to elect them. All that they were doing was saying, we are right, they are wrong, we would have done this better, where we wouldn't have done this, they made mistakes, and it was happening from both sides. And so instead of giving us some vision about Australia, instead of getting us agreeing on some purpose for Australia, instead of engaging us, they were trying to tell us that we know what is best for you, we know what is best for Australia. And I think the people of Australia have said, well, sex and travel. You don't know what is best for Australia. You don't know what is best for us. And in fact, neither of you are worth having in power. And so we have this interesting situation where suddenly both political parties have got to talk to the independents, have got to disclose things that perhaps they would prefer not to disclose. And as a result of this, at least in the parliamentary situation, there is some engagement taking place, and hopefully, coming out of that, there will be a shift in the mindset that means politicians will start saying, we need to really engage with the electorate. We need to engage with people as people and understand what is really going on, not just from the political polls, not just from what the media says, but getting out there, mixing with people, and really paying attention and engaging with people. Because I think that the political parties of the future that engage with people are the ones that are most likely to see power.
Excellent. I actually agree with you in lots of what you're saying. To talk about spin, I'm from Sri Lanka, so we love our spin. We kind of say whenever something, we're going to say something that's radical or different, we've always got, there's a spin there, we're going to toss in a googly or one of those things. and it's a Shane Warne or a Muralidharan being thrown in there. But yeah, I do agree with what you're saying in there, and perhaps adding a little bit to that is seeing some of the great achievements around the world and some of the countries that have managed to transition through difficult times. I'm always mindful of countries like Costa Rica, which no longer has an army. They have developed a society that seems to be surging ahead of every other society in the world. And I also am mindful of the work which Adam Kahane was involved in South Africa with the Flight of the Flamingos or the Montfleur Project, or in Colombia or in Guatemala, Vision Guatemala, where there was what was from a place of potential civil war in South Africa or in the aftermath of the civil war in Guatemala, to bring about a level of stability, some level, was possible only because these people got engaged with people in the general population. And in engaging and in the listening, that they managed to create these amazing vision for Guatemala, vision for South Africa, that has helped them maintain the peace and the calm, which could potentially have disintegrated given the situation that they were facing.
I think that's true, and I think the point you make about listening is vital. In fact, the key to third generation leadership is listening. And it's not just the traditional listening of I hear what you say, but it's not even listening so that I can disagree or I'm just waiting for an opportunity to present my case. But it's listening which is really picking up the message from the other people. It's listening which comes into it without any preconceived ideas. It's listening that isn't paying any attention to what I think, I feel. It's genuinely understanding and then responding to that because I'm actually sitting where the other person is sitting. I've got myself in their shoes. I'm working with them, and by working with them, I'm providing them with the opportunity to really make suggestions that can help them grow and help me grow. And I think that's the sort of listening, that's the sort of political approach that we need. Indeed, I think it's the approach we need in all areas of life, including in the family and everywhere else.
Yes, wouldn't it be interesting if that kind of listening could be taught in the schools when children are really young? Be an interestingly different world.
That's right. And of course it can be taught. It's just that we don't have the mindset, we don't have the world view that wants to teach it.
Excellent. I think that's one of the things that I hear many children. I did a lot of work with children, so many times when I'm sitting with children and discussing things and talking about the troubles and travails that they are facing, it's my listening that gives them the permission to step out of those troubles. And I see that happen so often.
Yep.
Remarkable transformation happens simply because I listened.
Yep.
Yes. So this is a message, perhaps, that the political leaders around in this country, and not just them, the corporate leaders, community leaders, even yourself, in your day-to-day life, learn to listen. And through listening, you will engage people rather than coercing them or controlling them or pushing them around. You will learn to engage, and with the engagement, you travel with someone rather than lead them around the place. That's what third generation leadership is all about. Thank you.